So hello and welcome. This is the first video on this channel. What I was thinking about was going into this in a slightly different direction, meaning instead of making it more simple, just going directly to the point, right? Which may seem to be the more difficult road to go down, or path. However, as I've told you before, because you believe something to be true does not make it such. All right. That is something that a lot of people have failed to realize and have failed to get past. That because you believe it to be true, it does not make it such. So then, it takes someone the time to stand away from their beliefs and test all words, to test every sound that is heard, all right, every sight that is seen, all right, and every account that is given for truthfulness. And in fact, it's incumbent upon nobody but yourself to be true to yourself, meaning that if you believe something to be true and then you bear witness to it as a fact, you are responsible for it, right? And so I spent a lot of time speaking in previous channels about the hoaxcraft and calling to people to be responsible for the death and to the murder, the words of murder, the witness of murder that they were putting out into the air, which allowed other people to hear and then to conjure. And when I say conjure, it is in fact witchcraft. Witchcraft, meaning witchcraft, right? So which then do you believe in, right? If you hear words of murder, right, do you believe the words that are told to you without investigation? And then do you then mirror that sin, that sign, that wave, that tone into other people's ears or into other people's eyes by giving them links and information? Because like a virus, it is then spread from individual to individual, and then that belief becomes a mantra. And then once a certain amount of people believe that to be true, to go against that belief then becomes the offense, because that then becomes offensive. The truth of the matter becomes offensive to those that believe the lie. All right. So I'm going to upload some of my older videos with this CERN experiment, the thought experiment, the color and tones experiment. However, if you're still looking at it as information to use to disbelieve in something that you are on the fence about, please don't do it. Don't use it that way. That's not what it's for. All right? Because again, you're responsible to go out and to prove all words and all deeds. All right? It's incumbent upon you. It's like I've told you before, this isn't a group effort. We're not all on the same boat, on the same bus. It's a straight and narrow path, right? One person at a time. And you are responsible for your beliefs, for your testimony, and for your witness. Right? So then, in order to understand that further, I've given you the understanding of numbers and tones and the creation of waves, and that wave mirrors into a thought, and then that thought then, once looked at and whole, then becomes a belief, if one chooses to believe it's true. And most people believe things to be true without actually looking into them, all right? Because you must look into something before you, of course, witness to it as being a truth. So then you have I've looked around YouTube, of course, and there are still people debating and going back and forth the shape of the ground that they live in and walk on and exist on. All right, you must go out and figure that out, because no debate, no argument, no back and forth changes the reality, the fact of the ground that you walk on. All right. Now I've tried to show you before in observation and example how to figure that out yourself, how to experiment, and how to look at, and how to discover that truth. All right. And then once that truth is found by you, then you can build a foundation upon it. All right. Because if you don't know, and if you can't understand, and if you can't speak to the truth of the ground you walk on, then how is that structure, that belief, going to stand? Because you have built it on a corrupt cornerstone. All right. So you are in fact the architect of your own disaster when that comes tumbling down and it crashes down upon you. So then, to understand how you have been cast, you have been formed. To be cast is to be formed into a sea of forgetfulness, into a sea, the ring of forgetfulness. In order to get out of that ring of forgetfulness, you must then recall, remember, observe, and then protect the truth of your verified observations. All right? So I would suggest that you start with the basics, because this system that you were born into takes you from a very young age and leads you down the corrupt road and fills your head with nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It tells you about things that never happened, that will never happen, that didn't exist, that will never exist. Alright? And I could go down, I could tell you all the different topics, but I've already covered all that. And I want to start this just with a general overview. Because once you go into a specific topic, then the mind focuses upon that only, and then many people will then just shut down, because that is against what they've chosen to believe. Therefore, it will not get past the stronghold. It will not get past the wall that they've built against that. They have chosen to fight against that truth with a fiction of their own building. All right? And until those strongholds are broken down by yourself from within, nothing can get through. So if you choose to heap upon yourself a lot of different voices, and they're contradictory voices, and you choose to listen to them, you will be led down a primrose path. You will be led down the deceptive path. All right? So what I'm going to do is upload a few videos after this one, which I hope, and I can only do that because I absolutely have no control, zero, over what other people do. All right? You must choose to do this or to not do this. So I will put them up for your consideration. And when you watch them, observe them, and hear them, it will be a creation of a tone, right? Those words I use, those images I use, those experiments that I show you will go into your head, and you must then take those and test them. All right? If you choose to test them, then you will be then responsible for the belief that you hold after that. All right? because you have tested the words and you either found them to be truth and or a fiction. And if they're a fiction, you dismiss them. If they're a truth, you hold fast to them. Right? And then you build a foundation upon the truths that you hold. Right? And guess what? Things are going to become different for you. They are going to become smaller because a lot of the beliefs that you held you're going to find are not true. And it may seem like that it becomes more of an isolation, only because you are going to dismiss so many untruths and so many purveyors of untruth, so many so-called teachers who are teaching untruths. So then you become isolated by your own free will, because you have chosen to build your foundation upon truth only. And most people, most individuals, and most institutions build upon untruths in order to entice you into something, into an idea or a belief. So anyways, that's all I wanted to tell you in this video. And like I say, I want to thank those 11 people who showed up to this channel. Sorry they keep deleting these things. It's like I say, when you go against the actual foundation stones of this existence, when you actually go to deconstruct those foundation stones, they will not have any of it. And when I speak about they, that is the spiritual they. That is those who are driven by the spirit of deceit, all right? Whom have decided that they will go against and reject the mind of Christ, right? They have chosen the deception as their God. They worship and choose and serve the lie and the liar. All right. So anyways, have a great day.